this content is for kids.
It's not for kids.
Isn't that what I said?
No, it's not for kids. If you are 13 years or younger, this is not for you. Do I have to kill somebody in order to actually make that point across?
No, man, you don't have to kill
Wait
no one.
a second.
Oh, no.
When we return to our planet, the High Court may well sentence you to torture.
He likes movies, we like movies. SeptumSin versus the world. SeptumSin versus the world. SeptumSin versus the world. SeptumSin versus the world. I'd buy that for $1.
Greetings! You're watching SeptumSin versus the World. I'm SeptumSin. This is Kotobuki Jake.
Hi.
And we're here to show you what they got.
Yeah.
Now, we had some
Hopefully.
technical difficulties last
Yes.
week where the entire file just corrupted. It tore, it did a whole bunch of crap, and just crashed the computer. So I'm glad I got my computer to work.
Yeah,
but I wasn't, and I don't remember much. Now, Jake, you say you remember something of last week's placements that you wanted to.
Well, that's not what I said. I said we would make some note about it. But no, I had, let's see. I'd have to look for that. But we did have some cool stuff last week, and it was, I was very much hoping that we would be able to somehow salvage all of that work, but
I think
it
Kissy
did not
Faces was
happen.
one. That was the one with the Groucho Marx one. I mean, the Harpo Marx in it. We had a couple that were in the Blockbuster.
Wait. Here we go. So last week we had 3 priority movies, if I'm not mistaken. Cinema Paradiso, The Irishman, and the Lupin the Third. Was it was it Twilight Gemini or something like
Something
that?
like that. That's one of the re-releases.
Right. And then for the Yes Pleases, I remember there were 5. They were the Mad Max release, Wonder Boys, first time on Blu-ray, which is awesome. The Essential Fellini, and then there was okay, we have forgotten what the others are. What have you? I don't believe there were any that rated hell no.
No, we had a couple missed, but that was more divided.
Yeah, there were a couple that were partial hell no's, but so there's your very, very, very brief recap of last week. Unfortunately, let's just hope this week there are no technical difficulties.
And now for something completely different.
Well, this week we have Gundam.
Woo-hoo!
So let's take a look at this right here. Mobile Suit Gundam Seed Collector's Ultra Edition. As you can see on here, can you see it now? I set it to where I hope you'll be able to see it.
I see it fine.
And you can see this nice looking set, and they do some good Gundam sets. I mean, the one that I had with the Gundam Wing one I have is gigantic. But $224 nets you 48 episodes of the TV series. Also has 2 hours of video extras, which is pretty impressive for anime. 118-page hardcover booklet. And then you've got the 1 through 50 of the original series dub. Release and compilations will only be a part of this Ultra collection. So you've got a whole bunch of just a whole bunch of extra stuff here that you can get. So it's a lot of stuff, a lot of material, and some of it you will only be able to get from Sunrise's Ultra Edition. Let's see if they've got
coming directly from the publisher. That is kind of an interesting way how they're doing that.
Some of these publishers are just self-publishing their material. And
well, the Gundam franchise was a Bandai visual release until they stopped doing North America.
They
so
still,
then-
yeah, I know they do some imports, but that's about it.
I think they're attached to these Sunrise Gundam releases.
Mm-hmm.
But again, it's not like it no longer has Bandai logo like front and center and all that stuff.
All right.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
with that, of course, we'll come right back to rating this. But first, let's take a look at everything else coming out for you to enjoy.
1, 2, 3, 4.
I guess you live in a castle, girl. Wouldn't spend a minute in my world. It's alright, it's okay. I'm gonna love you any old way. I give you time, and you will see. Anyway that I can, I'm going to love you any way that I can. I guess that gold is your type of thing. Diamonds and pearls draped around your neck. But it's alright, it's okay. I'm gonna love you any old way. Any way that I can, I'm going to love you any way that I can. I guess I have your attention, girl. You long, I long. Let's just belong. It feels so great, oh so nice to have this girl night after night. What a lucky guy I am. Any way that I can, I'm going to love you any way that I can. Any way that I can, I'm going to love you any way that I can. Walking in the surf sand between my toes. Just in my line of sight, yeah, she's out of sight. Yeah, she's out of sight. And where I should see a sea of beautiful women. Where I should see a sea of beautiful women. I just see her. I got tunnel vision, I just see her. I got tunnel vision, I got tunnel vision for her. We were here every chance that we got. Every chance that we got. Beach blanket baby in the ocean blue. And a two-piece red hot, red shades to match. Waiting for the AM to play our song. Our song, short and sweet, our song. With the killer beat, our song. From the day I met her, our song. The letter, our killer beat our song. The day that I met her, our song. The letter, the letter, the letter, the letter.
So, let's go to our little scoreboard over here. And so, of course, we have our ratings, which, of course, the priority is we both agree. We have to both agree on priority, and it's just simply something that we need to get, like, right away.
Mm-hmm.
It needs to be done. It could be something that just is going to go out of print really quickly. We can't afford to let it go out of print. Mm-hmm. It could be something that's just something we've wanted really badly, but we're willing to pay. We might be willing to wait for a sale, but we're not willing to wait long.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, please. We're willing to wait for a sale, but we're definitely wish listing it. It's definitely on our marketplace, of course. Yes, please, curious, and meh. That's kind of an average of our two. We can get to one of those. We average our ratings and round down for all of them except for priority and hell no. For curious, something that we have a mild interest in. We might be interested in picking that bad boy up for a decent price, but not quite willing to pay for it what we would for the upper two slots. Meh, not really much interest, but hey, if we find it exceptionally cheap, like $1 or so, or let's say we find it and it's free,
yeah,
we're not going to toss it. We might check it out or let it languish on a pile for future viewing for 1 year.
More likely that.
Let's see. And then, of course, hell no. We won't even own this in our collection for free. It's in our collection. It ain't in our collection for long. It's going to be gone. So, let's go ahead and rank our Gundam. So, what do you think? I don't know. I am mildly interested in Gundam. It's on the curious level just because of the cost. What are your thoughts?
I have long since put Gundam Seed on my list. It is wish listed, and this is a cool looking set. The likelihood that I'll be able to get it at an affordable price is minimal, but I'll still go yes, please.
All right, so it's down to curious, but still it's there. So we got Gundam on our list for once.
Very good.
All right, your turn.
Okay, so first off this week, we have a lot of re-releases this week. And the first one we're going to be looking at is an Essentials release from Funimation. So you know you gotta get it. And it's a series called Angels of Death. And I have to admit, this is one that I'm not sure I'd heard about. I cannot remember. But Right Stuff's description, very briefly, when Rachel wakes up in the basement of an unfamiliar building, she finds she's lost all her memory. As she tries to escape, she runs into Zack, a scythe-carrying serial killer, wrapped from head to toe in bandages. Now, A&N gave a more thorough description where it's a multi-level building, and each level basically is dominated by one particular killer. And Rachel wants to die, and Zack wants to kill, and they make an agreement that if they can get out, they'll each make the other one happy. But it sounds totally crazy and weird. Supposedly, it's actually kind of funny in a dark gallows way. So I'm definitely curious. And of course, we love ragging on Funimation for these essentials releases. This one sounds like it might almost qualify that title, but I don't know for sure.
I don't even recall it releasing.
Yeah.
I don't remember the thing.
I don't remember it either, but it definitely has my curiosity. So I'm going to definitely give that a high curious.
I'd go with curious.
Sounds like it'd be right up your alley.
So Kino has a lot of cool stuff coming.
Right.
And they're doing a re-release of the Barbarians, and these brothers used to have a very short window where they were in a lot of things. But very few of them, there's only 2 that I know that have gotten any kind of release outside of VHS. And I think the other one was Double Trouble, but I can't think of if that's the right name or not. But this one is the Barbarians, which is their most well-known one. And it's getting its first time on Blu-ray, and essentially it's a Conan the Barbarian style adventure. It's a fantasy adventure comedy, and it's quite well done, quite entertaining. I really like it. If you like something like Conan the Barbarian, Beastmaster, you'll like this one. I have a lot of nostalgia for it, though I'm not sure whether I'm going to pay the money for it or not. I still haven't decided yet. I mean, I've got it on DVD, so I'm just not sure.
If you're patient with Kino, you can occasionally get really good deals. Yeah. It just kind of depends.
So it's one that would be a yes, please for me, because it's definitely wish listed, but not a priority, because even if then again, if I didn't have it, that's the other thing, really. I mean, qualifying. If I didn't have it, I feel the need to have it. So I guess it would be a priority for me into that.
I'm going to have to go curious. I am curious, but I do not have the nostalgia going for it. So.
All right, that rounds to a yes, please. Yay!
All right. So, next up, we have a Best Buy exclusive steelbook. I believe it's Best Buy exclusive. 4K Ultra Blu-ray combo of Denis Villeneuve's Arrival, which was a weird, strange film with Amy Adams and Jeremy Renner, Forrest Whitaker. Basically, Adams plays a linguist, if memory serves correctly, who's brought in to try and communicate with the inhabitants of a weird alien ship. And it's a strange, head-trippy kind of movie. It's really well done, but I found myself by the end going, that was something. It was almost too head trippy for me without, maybe a couple more viewings and I'll really get my head around it. I do agree that Amy Adams was overlooked for actress. It's one of the few times she's not been nominated. I already have this on Blu-ray, so there's a little need for an upgrade. But I admit the steelbook looks cool.
So if you didn't have it,
tempting.
Where would it be?
If I didn't have it, it would be a yes, please, if only because it was a multiple Oscar nominee. And I do consider this an essential one to get.
It won one, didn't it?
I think it won one. But so it's definitely a yes, please for me.
Yeah, let me double check, but I'm pretty sure it did.
If I loved it, I'd call it a priority, but I didn't love it. So.
I've yet to see it, to tell you the truth. Yeah, it won an Oscar.
Yeah.
What did it win? Out of curiosity. Best achievement in sound
editing. But it was up for picture, director, screenplay, all kinds of stuff.
Well, since it's a winner, it has to be yes, please. Sight unseen. All right.
There you go.
Moving on.
All right.
All right, so next up is Blade. I think that this is probably the first time that the movie has been out on 4K.
I think so.
I don't recall it being on 4K prior, but it could have been. Doesn't look like there's a ton of special features on this.
Not
but,
much.
I mean,
Commentary's always nice.
People were talking about, well, Black Panther was the first real black superhero. Well, not necessarily. We had Steel. No, just kidding. But Blade was really good. Wesley Snipes did a really good job. The first two movies were amazing. The third movie was probably something that many people would like to forget. And, but still, it was a good film. Very solid, very good comic book movie. If you don't have it, you should have it. I would say if I didn't have this already, I would have it as a yes, please. It needs to be in the collection.
I have it on DVD, so there's actually a temptation to upgrade. If I had a 4K player, it would be a stronger temptation to go for this, but I'll probably wait for the triple pack that eventually will be guaranteed to come out. But triple pack steelbook, I'm sure. But I do agree this would be a yes, please.
Yeah, I mean, I've got it in a triple pack, so I can't really.
Yeah.
But, and on Blu-ray at that, but still, It's a good time.
Right. All right. So, next up, we have, I get to lead off on this. Okay, we have a little bit of marketing bullshit going on, which is basically that Sony, in attempt to promote their new PS5, which came out, last week? Some-ish? I don't know exactly, but you're supposed to know these things.
PlayStation 5 came out earlier this month.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't consider it a real release because it's not really available to the public. It's just it's just scalpers and a couple of lucky people who managed to get it. Scalpers have figured out how to use bots to get like 95% of the releases as they come out. And with the COVID, both the next-gen systems are very limited in their release scope. So the likelihood that I could even think about getting one, I don't really have any drive to try and get one right now. But if I wanted to, the best time to get it with these would probably be around April. That's probably when it's going to be hitting real wide release. So think of this as more of like a limited theatrical showing. Though you can get it if you want to pay $1,000 for console, but from scalpers. But I ain't doing that. Scalpers.
I couldn't even find it on Amazon. I was like,
Nope, scalpers are evil, so fuck you, scalpers. I am not going to buy it. I don't need that system that much. Besides, half of them are overheating anyway. Need to wait until they can get the bugs fixed.
So, after all that, even though apparently the public supply has dried up already, Sony is pushing forward with the plans of releasing, roughly a dozen, 10 or so movies, Sony releases obviously, in what are called the PS5 4K Movie Essentials releases, which they plan to do the standard retail price at $31 a pop, which is a little steep for a movie, especially because all of these are available cheaper. But they kind of look cool, I guess. But it's sort of a cross-promotional tool to let you know that, hey, you can watch movies on your PS5, 4K movies, But anyway, after all that, Baby Driver is getting yet another re-release as part of this series. And we've mentioned this movie before. I have seen it. It is an excellent film. It's worth picking up. I'm pretty sure it is worth getting on 4K. It was, after all, a nominee for both sound awards and the visual editing, and it is a crisp, clean-looking movie, even on Blu-ray, so it'd probably be pretty awesome on 4K. But I can't get behind this marketing plan, but if you can, go for it.
You know, if I ended up watching it, if I ended up getting one of those, I would have to watch it on my Xbox. So that's kind of funny, because the PlayStation 4 Pro doesn't play 4K, and only the Xbox One X plays 4K. So it's kind of funny, actually. Right now, the only easily available game system right now that can play it is the rival.
Right, that is kind of funny.
All right, so where do you rate Baby Driver?
Oh, it's a yes, please, no doubt about it.
I need to see it, so I can't really put it at yes, please yet. But it's a high.
Didn't it win an Oscar?
Nope, it got nominated.
Oh, okay.
So I am more on the high curious. I do own it, but I got it for when it was I got it at the Dollar Tree on Blu-ray, so I can't really say that it was a wait. What was it? A waiting list type purchase, you know. So we're gonna move on. All right, Bloodshot. Well, all right. We're back here again with these. You're gonna see a number of these, but Sony again. Trying to put this, I don't know why they bother advertising for something that's already sold out and is going to continue to be sold out in April.
You think these would have been pushed back 2 or 3 weeks at least?
Exactly. They're readily available. It's not really hard to get. And I think I even already have it on a 4K Steelbook, which is there. Again, it's one that I had been wanting to see for a long time. Now I have it, and I still haven't watched it yet. I guess it just shows you how much I loved it to where it was there. But it was one that I really felt I needed to get. But it was more of a whim that I bought it when it released on the Best Buy Steelbook than I must have it. So I would probably put Bloodshot as a yes, please.
I'm curious. I can only do curious, but that was one that I got from the library and had to take it back without watching it.
See, we've done 2 in a row that are like you've seen. It's like we've got a priority and a curious, so they go down to curious.
Right, good times.
All right, moving on.
We got. Let's see, we've done that one. Okay, we have another 4K release, but this one's a proper 4K release and not some stupid Sony thing. This is Beverly Hills Cop. Another theme this week, you're going to see a lot of Eddie Murphy. Okay, so we've got this early 80s buddy cop kind of dramedy Beverly Hills Cop, one of his best known films, I would say, and certainly one of his higher rated ones. And I have long thought one of his more overrated movies, but I didn't grow up with this one the way a lot of people did.
That's why I put it on like a anybody can grab that one.
Yeah. I like I said, I didn't grow up with this. I don't have the nostalgia. I've only seen it once, maybe all the way through. I think I've seen parts of it a couple times. It's good. It's probably one that will grow on me if I see it more. I don't know that it needs a 4K upgrade, although it is well known for the music, and I love hearing crisp, clear music come through. I think maybe I have it on DVD. I will say yes, please, if only because it's such a highly rated movie.
Yeah, I feel like it needs to be an essential in most collections.
Yeah.
I last saw it about 30 years ago, so I have a slightly vague in my mind. I mean, sadly, the only thing I remember is that theme and the animated version that they did on The Critic, where they're sticking bananas in people's tailpipes. In the literal sense, not figurative.
Right.
So, yep. All right.
And then, okay.
This is one I put because you have so many that you're covering that I thought, well, I kind of like this. So I would have something to make it a little bit closer. Still not. He's going to be dominating at the end of this. So, Blue Oyster Cult live at the Rock of Ages Festival 2016. I like the Blue Oyster Cult. I probably wouldn't buy it because I usually don't buy concert albums unless I love the group, and that's very rare. But I do like their music. I like their sound, and in general, they're a good group. It's going to be on the 4th instead of the 1st this time around, but we wouldn't take an entire week talking about everything released on the 4th because that would just be like this and one other thing.
Right.
So yeah, like I say, it looks like fun. I'm at a low curious.
Yeah, I rather enjoy their music myself, and I agree. I'm not huge on concert albums. This being more of a video, I can get behind that more because when you actually watch the performance, you get more out of it than And I do like the idea of collecting these kind of things as they become available, but I wouldn't go out of my way for it. So I would definitely give it a solid curious.
All right, so we're at that curious level.
Okay, back to me. We've got something pretty fun here. Bugs Bunny 80th Anniversary Collection. The dude's 80 years old. Think about that. But we got a pretty neat looking little set here. It looks like it comes in an Acme crate that, says, "What's up, Doc?" on the side. It's got this weird ass little Funko Pop Bugs that's all sparkly apparently. And then you've got 3 discs. What's notable about this, 60 short films starring Bugs Bunny. I believe, according to the item description, that they were like all theatrical shorts. And from what I'm seeing, and restored and remastered, which is potentially cool, what I saw in the user comments is that supposedly roughly half of these have never had release on any disc. Maybe on cassette, I'm not sure. But they've never been released in any disc format. And a few of the others were apparently released on Laserdisc and haven't been released since. So there are some rarities here. The old school Looney Tunes, I grew up on this. I'm sure you did.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure most, I went back recently and revisited some of it, and to be honest, a lot of it has not aged well. A lot of it is very un-PC in today's climate. Bugs himself is kind of a smarmy little ass. But it's still a classic piece of American cinema / television. And this could be a worthwhile set to get. I would call it a yes, please.
Hey, it's sparkly too.
Yeah.
So let's see.
It's a little pricey. I would definitely wait for the price to come down.
It's a little pricey. I would be interested in a lower priced, like standard set maybe, that had the content, but not necessarily all the thingamajigs.
Yeah.
Because though I don't mind, I would love to see a Looney Tunes like complete collection.
I don't know if that's possible, but that'd be something for Criterion to tackle.
That would be a cool thing, and
that'd be like that Olympic set or something.
I do have all of the Oscar-winning short films that they have on one set, because they did put all of those on one set.
Nice.
So I'd put that as a yes, please, for me as well. Okay. You never know, but I'd keep my eye on it.
You never know.
So, I was just talking about this not long ago in a pickup, where I got the cheaper DVD, but they're doing an upgrade to Blu-ray, which is DC Cab, which is one of Mr. T's few non-A-Team related movie appearances, and it looked like a fun ride. I really need to watch my copy, but it looks fun. I would definitely be interested at that price if I didn't already own it.
This is impressive, though. I think you were just talking about the Barbarian brothers. I think they're in this. But you got Mr. T, Gary Busey, Bill Maher.
It's got an amazing cast.
Yeah.
It's
directed by Joel Schumacher. That's not a bad. And this is a Kino release, yeah. So I'll be looking for that on the future sales.
It probably would be a yes, please for me, being on a because I would definitely wish list this bad boy if I was like, especially if I didn't have it. But I really need to see it first before I would say a yes, like a part.
I wish I could remember that initial description we heard about this one because it cracked me up. It was something like, I can't remember. Let's see, DC Cab, right? Let's see. Was it IMDb maybe? Let's see. Nope, it wasn't that. Well, anyway, yeah, that's the. I'm going to say that is a very solid Curious, but I'm not sure I can go quite to yes, please.
Understood.
Yeah.
I'm a huge Mr. T fan, so I can't remember.
Right.
All right.
Exactly. So next up, we're skipping all the way to T, apparently.
Yeah. Accidentally.
We're trading places. I said there were a lot of Eddie Murphy movies. This is another one of those Paramount Presents, they kind of open up and looks almost like a little book or something. It's kind of a neat way of doing it. And this, of course, is a famous comedy with Eddie Murphy and Dan Aykroyd, directed by John Landis. I mean, that right there, that's a pretty good pedigree. I think I've seen this movie. I honestly can't remember, but I know it's considered to be a classic 80s comedy. Those two together, you can't go but so wrong, theoretically. And this is a cool-looking set, and I don't think I have this. So you put all that together, I'm tempted to label this yes, please. I would not pay top dollar, but I would definitely prioritize it at a solid discount or whatever.
It was okay.
Okay.
I've got it on DVD, and I don't consider it as priority as a lot of the other classic films, but I do find it to be okay, so it'll be a high Curious for me.
Okay, that works. That's about where I was, too. We're just like on either side of the line.
All right.
Okay.
Moving on to a big one here, a 4K release of The Fifth Element.
Is that the release? That doesn't look like what I remembered from the slideshow.
It was one of those other releases. And,
now, there was another one. Okay, that's cool looking.
That is a cool looking one, but no, that's not it either.
Well, there was another one that's coming up that you had one image, and I had to hunt for that image because it's coming out on regular and steelbook.
Yeah.
Is that what the case is with this one?
Here, looking for it on my little list. I like that steelbook cover for Chernobyl.
That's also not the image I saw.
Oh, no, that's not the standard. That's the Best Buy exclusive.
Oh, okay.
Some of these are getting the Best Buy exclusives, but also getting regulars, so I'm not trying to do too much.
Oh, yeah, there you go. It was
one
the
of those,
PS5. Yeah,
I figured it was one of those PS5 ones.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, The Fifth Element is a good movie. It's a solid sci-fi adventure film. One of the ways that you could say that Mila Jovovich got her start. And overall, it's just a fun film. I really like it. Really enjoyable. I would say it's one of my more favorite sci-fi films.
That is one that I don't think I've seen it all the way through. I've seen large portions of it, but I could not swear to it. I've seen it from start to finish. It's long been on the list of things to see. And I know it is a highly rated one.
To me, it's a yes, please, only just because, I like it, but it's only just because it is an essential, I think, to most collections because of because one, it started off Mila Jovovich's career, really. It's a well-known Bruce Willis film. It even has a good Chris Tucker role. He's annoying in it, but he's amusing annoying. The role fits him. So, you know, I mean, like I say, it's a yes, please for me, but...
I'm going to have to... I don't think I have it. I'm torn. It would be right on the edge for me between a yes, please and a curious. And honestly, one of the things that helps almost push it down to curious is the fact that it's getting one of those stupid PS5 things going on. I can't. No, that's not a hell no.
Oh, I just dropped it there for a moment.
Okay. I would say if it was getting a better release, I might go yes, please. But as it is, I'll have to go curious.
All right. There we are.
Okay. Chernobyl.
Oh, I got rid of it. Oh, well, yeah, it was
You
Chernobyl.
got rid of it. Well, I've still got it. So
Yeah.
Chernobyl is getting a release, 4K release. This is a mini-series starring Jared Harris, Stellan Skarsgård, and Emily Watson. It involves people, I guess, going in to clean up Chernobyl, I guess. I really don't know much about it.
Very well
I just know that it... Huh?
It's very well liked.
Oh, I was going to say, it's a highly rated movie. I think it won some Golden Globes, didn't it? Like, it was pretty... I know it was up for some and some Emmys as well. And it's HBO, so that's always a good sign because they really do solid television. That's, I guess, all I have to say about that. I will give this actually a yes, please. It is on my radar. I'd like that. I do like that Steelbook, so that's almost tempting.
Oh, the Steelbook looks so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a yes, please for me. It's on my radar. It's been on my radar. I just keep passing it by.
Right.
There's got to be a good sale for it somewhere.
Right. Ow.
So,
Okay.
speaking of these releases for Eddie Murphy, we've got Golden Child. Now, this is one of the few that does actually hit my, what is the word? Nostalgia, yeah. It hits that nostalgia right there. Again, they don't have a ton of special features. But it's essentially, he gets involved with this child who is this, second coming of God or something like that, and he's got to protect it from the devil or something like that. It's a decent film. It's a fun enough comedy. Nostalgia makes it more up my way. I can see where somebody who's not so nostalgic for it probably would just be, it's okay. But I think it's an okay and pretty solid comedy movie.
Okay.
So it would be a yes, please for me, but that would be because of what it is. So I can understand people going like no or meh. Or
What was the discussion we had very recently where that one factored into the discussion? Was it Big Trouble or was it?
it could have been Big Trouble
No.
because it was around that same time period. Anyway.
Right. I have no nostalgia for this. I have never seen it. I'm going to go with a curious for that one, but it's pretty solid curious. Eddie Murphy's sometimes questionable career choices aside, and the fact that he apparently is a little bit of a prick that doesn't play well with others, he can act when he's on point. He can act, and his films can be pretty solid.
I'm surprised.
Like I said, not all.
I am surprised 48 Hours isn't on here.
Right. Well, we do have another Eddie Murphy movie coming up right now. Coming to America.
Steelbook.
Which this is the one I was talking about. That's the Steelbook, but there's also a standard 4K release coming out at the same time. Very different look to it. I saw this movie, I think, once when I was in college. And I think I've seen bits and pieces of it at other times. I don't know it very well. I remember he's an African prince or king. I can't remember.
Yeah.
Okay.
James
And
Earl
he-
Jones is his father.
Okay. Well, that right there is a big, big plus for it. Anytime you got James Earl Jones, it might be worth a look. I do remember being entertained by this. Oh, Arsenio Hall's in
Yeah.
there too. Rare acting role for him. And then who else we got on there? I'm sure there's a few bonus features, not too bad. And this, of course, 4K release. I'm not sure again how much this film would benefit from 4K, but it might still be. And it's directed again by John Landis, apparently. So that's also a good. So yeah, I'm going to say this is another one where I'm right on the edge because again, a lot of people have the nostalgia and love the film. I've seen it, but not enough to be nostalgic for it. I would say at the very least, it's a very, very, very solid, curious, borderline, yes, please, but
Now mine's
Probably-
a high curious, just because I do like the film. I don't have the nostalgia for it either, though there is the sequel coming out soon. So that's another reason for the release, actually.
I bet it is. I didn't realize it was a sequel.
Yep. So
We have a few things where they're going back to the well this week, not just re-releases, a couple others coming up.
mine is another one of these PS5 thingies. Hellboy. I think this is the Guillermo del Toro Hellboy.
Is it?
Yep.
Okay, I couldn't really tell from the picture. It almost looked more like the
Well, it
new
has
one.
it listed here. It has his name.
Okay. Yeah. So the good one.
So, I can't really rate the other one yet because I haven't seen it.
Yeah,
But-
I haven't either.
and both Hellboys have been released on 4K before. But if you want to pay $30 for it, you can with this. And you can put it on your PS5 if you have one. And it has both the theatrical and director's cut. So, hey, that's pretty awesome. And that's it. But Hellboy would definitely be a yes, please, if I didn't have the movie. I'm not sure about that version, but I definitely feel like it needs to be in a collection.
Oh, yeah. I am very seriously waiting and hoping for Criterion to put out a Hellboy collection with both the Del Toro films. And I think that they should. And I'm waiting for that. And that will be my upgrade. I do have them both on DVD already. I'm not upgrading for this stupid marketing ploy, but it is a phenomenal film. It is an essential to the collection. So I will definitely mark that a yes, please.
With an asterisk.
I mean, yes, definitely. The film itself is borderline priority, but the packaging brings it down to yes, please.
Hey, you never know.
Okay.
You might stumble into a PS5 one of these days, and you'll be like, heck, I gotta
That
get all of
probably hurts.
these.
I don't want to stumble into one. They're too expensive. But anyway, so next up is my go, right?
Mm-hmm.
We have a film that I have only heard of in passing, but this looks really fun. Actually, is the same age I am. Continental Divide getting a Kino Lorber release. And as you can see from the cover, it stars John Belushi and Blair Brown. Apparently, Belushi is a big city type, sort of a news reporter, but one of the less reputable ones. And I think he's kind of drummed out of town for a while. And he ends up hooking up with this Eagle researcher, who's played by Blair Brown. Directed by Michael Apted. Overall, it sounds pretty interesting. I don't think I'd heard of this before, but I will definitely be keeping an eye out. If this goes on a Kino sale for a good price, I will pick it up. I'm probably going to leave it at a curious, but it's a high curious.
I mean, I'm curious because of the cast, but I have to see it first.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of those, again, if you had nostalgia for it, it might actually move up enough.
Right.
But this ain't Animal House, so I can't really. All right. Next up. Well, so we've been looking at this for a while, and there's also a steelbook version of this coming up at Best Buy, which has been sold out for a pre-order sold out.
Of course it is.
But this is like the 4K. So the Hobbit Trilogy is finally getting its 4K with the theatrical and extended movies. I have it on Blu-ray, and I'm fine with that. But I'm sure it would look fine on 4K.
I should hope so.
The steelbooks look good. The Hobbit Trilogy was the one that I was hoping for a lot, and well, I really wasn't hoping for a trilogy. I just wanted like one movie, and I was disappointed. But at least it filled the void, and it got me where I needed to be with the story. I still have yet to watch the extended cut of any of these films. I always say one day I'm going to just sit down with my copy of it, which looks pretty cool, and my copy of the Lord of the Rings Blu-ray, and just do a back-to-back. It's so long.
Right, yeah. It gave us a long. It gave us a lot of jokes actually because of the Peter Jackson taking that little old book and turning it into a huge thing. We started joking about like director's cut, the Peter Jackson cut of where the wild things are and that kind of thing. I had a bad taste in my mouth from this one, not just because it was longer than it should have been, but this was one where his wife absolutely insisted that we go see it on IMAX, where we went to a regular theater and saw it in quote unquote IMAX, and it was a huge freaking ripoff. Never go to a regular theater and pay for IMAX. It's a ripoff. It's a scam. The screen was like 2 feet longer or something. And that being said, the first Hobbit was an enjoyable film.
Yeah.
I never got around to seeing the other two because that first experience kind of ticked me off, and timing and lack of time for excessively long movies and that sort of thing. But since I do not own them and I do want to see them, and I do consider that a must own, if only because of the pedigree behind it, I will give this a yes, please. I'm almost even going to say priority, except that I know that I'm not that excitable about it. But I would give it a yes, please.
There is a sort of necessity to having it. If I didn't have the movies, so it would be a yes, please for me. But it's a low yes, please.
All right.
So,
Michael?
Yep.
Now we have another re-release that is exciting. This is actually one. This is actually one that. This is actually one that our Movies Galore's Dane had actually cued me in on, I think, when it was first announced. And then I forgot about it. And then it was on the list this week, and I was like, oh, yeah. This is another Ang Lee film that really needs the Criterion treatment, like yesterday. But in the meantime, I would be more than happy to upgrade my DVD to a 4K steelbook, especially one that looks this cool. That is a cool looking steelbook. And I love this film. It is one of my absolute top rated non-English language films. It's absolutely gorgeous. The music is stunning. I would love to hear it on 4K. This is very much a priority in my book.
Alright, I was just looking to see. I didn't like the film, but I did consider it a yes, please, because it's a four-time Oscar winner. So it must be in the collection because it's an Oscar winner. But I didn't like the film. I need to rewatch it again.
You do need to if you didn't like it.
Maybe if it's
a lot of people. This was a film that suffered, unfortunately, from being marketed as a martial arts film. A lot of people hated it because they went in thinking it was going to be like some hardcore martial arts, and they were not expecting the wuxia portrayal of martial arts, and they were not expecting it to be a meditative, melancholy film directed by a guy who is known for meditative, melancholy films with music driven by cello, of all things. You know, Yo-Yo Ma is the world's greatest cellist, but still.
Like I say, I can see where it was done well, and maybe if we ever do another Second Chance month, I'll put that up.
Oh, that'd be a good one.
So, you know.
And I will continue pushing for it if we do another martial arts month, you know.
I mean, I did finally make my peace with Sideways after all.
You did. And as I did with Night of the Hunter, I was...
So, unlike unlike The Hobbit, The Lord of the Rings was a spectacular movie trilogy. It was epic in many ways, and so are those extended versions of the films.
Which I have actually seen those.
4K may or may not be an awesome upgrade, depending. I'm pretty sure that would be fine because
I would think so.
Because they did such a great job crafting the films. It's just hard to believe that they're as old as they are. And it's just, I mean, I remember the excitement going to theaters each time and like, oh man, another I got to wait at least a year or two before I could see the next one.
Yeah.
And it's just like, but it's great to have them. I doubt I'll upgrade to 4K because I've got my Blu-rays. I'm kind of happy with it, but again, my set looks nicer than this one. But there is a Steelbook set if you could find it. You know, get it with that PS5 that you likely found if you got the Steelbook, and enjoy it.
Now, I'll admit, if I could dig up the Steelbook of either this or The Hobbit, I would snap them up.
Yeah, it might come out next week. You might be able to find some in stores.
Yeah, I do. Now, did you say that does have the regular and extended editions?
It does.
Okay, because I do have the extended editions on DVD, and they're really nice-looking sets, but they do take up a lot of space.
They do. If I was in your situation, see, I had already upgraded to the Blu-ray, which does have both on it, and has all those special features. So if I was in your circumstance, I would probably be upgrading. But again, for me, unlike The Hobbit, these are a priority. If I would agree. It would be there.
I would agree. They're a priority.
Matter of fact, if I didn't have it, I'd probably be one of those people who would have pre-ordered the Steelbook. So,
All right. So we got a priority finally?
Yep. And if The Hobbit hadn't been such a disappointment, it would have been a priority too.
True. Okay, so next up. Okay, I want to see what... Is that the same image that you have in the...
I got the standard edition, but I thought, hey, I'll show off the prime.
No, I remember seeing the limited edition. Okay, because I'm confused.
It's season 1, part 2.
Yeah, so it is season 1, part 2. Season 1, part 1's already out?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is one of the Funimation releases where they do a standard release and then they do second part with the art box that's supposed to hold both of them.
Yep.
And so it's a little confusing if you're not following along. You're like, wait a minute. But anyway, and it's more expensive than it would be if they would just put it all out in one damn set in the first place. But, so Dr. Stone is apparently a series about just like this dude is like getting ready to tell the girl he likes what he thinks or whatever. And then like everyone on Earth is turned to stone. And then like a thousand years later, he wakes up, couple of his friends wake up with him, and they manage to start slowly trying to figure out what's going on and whatever. I don't know much about the show, but I know that it has been decently well rated. It looks fun. It looks interesting. I like the look of that art box. So I'm going to at least rate this a high curious, and it is certainly something that if it doesn't sell and Funimation eventually tries to sell it off like they're doing some of their others, I would get that in a heartbeat.
I am curious as to how it will be. I can definitely wait on a full season release for this. I am curious.
Okay.
So, there we go. See, there it is. That's the one I used, the photo I used.
Okay. I don't know why it looked different to me. Whatever. I don't know.
Because these are all pulled from the slideshow. So,
Right.
Let's see. So, moving on. All right, here's one that's pretty much unavailable, so sorry. So for those of you who are like big fans of Friday the 13th, Never Hike Alone, which, by the way, we watched and talked about in our Friday the 13th fan film discussion, so you should check that out.
I don't think I did see one, but...
And both of them are available free on YouTube. So, you can get them on YouTube, but if you wanted the Blu-ray release,
watch them.
you should have actually also invested in one of these last chance packs, because you're able to not only get this, which is what's coming out this week. Oh, it looks like you can still sign up for it. So never mind. Go to the Indiegogo campaign, and you can get a hold of this. Still, it looks like, where they're still producing it. Unlike last time with the first one, they're not. It looks like they are making a better go of it. And you can also get the second printing of the original Never Hike Alone. So that's pretty good. And there's also a third edition reprint. So, you have a lot of ability with this. It looked, the first one was pretty good. I like the take of it. It was basically kind of almost a found footage version of a Friday the 13th with a couple other hybrid stats to it. And they've got a whole bunch of them they plan. So keep your eye on these pages. There will be more. So with that, I know I got it right away. So to me, it's a priority. I know that you are not going to have it anywhere near that, but hopefully not a hell no. But
well, since I didn't actually watch Never Hike Alone, I don't really know what I would be getting into.
It's not the same gore level anwoy as some of the
I was going to say, I did watch the other two fan films, and I actually enjoyed Vengeance. That was a good one. Where would you put it relative to Vengeance versus the actual series versus the what was the other one we watched?
It's very different because it reminds
very different.
The only thing that I could say is there was a scene where he has to sew up his own wounds, sort of like how First Blood went. That's probably the goriest it gets. But otherwise, it just really is one man versus Jason for the whole time. And
I would say it has my curiosity. The series overall is kind of, as you know from watching our videos, meh. But I do like trying to support independent creators, and I like that idea. So I'll at least give this a curious.
All right. Boom. Actually, wait. I gave it a priority, so guess what?
You did. Oh!
I can say yes, please.
There you go.
All right. Yay.
So, next up, we have... That's one of yours.
Yeah, what's the next one up on your list?
The Equalizer and Equalizer 2. Okay. So, the Equalizer and the Equalizer 2. For some reason, the Equalizer 2 apparently came first. I don't get it.
That's in order. Made it hard for me to find this set again.
Right. So, this is a 2-pack, 4K 2-pack, Denzel Washington film. Directed, if I remember correctly, I want to say Antoine Fuqua was the director. Do you have that? You don't have that information handy, do you?
Let's see.
I don't know why it doesn't tell me on here. But at any rate,
Yeah.
I do know both. Both of them are Antoine Fuqua. So the guy behind Training Day, which was a great Denzel film. I do know one of my brothers was a huge fan of the first film. I can't remember what he thought of the second one. I have not gotten around to seeing them yet, but I am curious. I am definitely curious. Training Day kicked ass, and it's nice seeing a darker side to Denzel. You know, he's one of those actors that can play almost anything if you give him the chance.
I agree.
So
Training Day kicked ass.
I will give that a very solid curious. I might actually go yes, please, because it's a 2-pack. It would save space on the shelf.
Well, to me, it's a curious because it's an unknown quantity yet. But maybe if I see it, I will. Yeah. If I see it cheap enough, I might grab it. Well, that's the definition of curious, isn't it? It's like, if I see it and it's like, it's young.
Well, and again, for those of you watching at home, we have a fundamental disconnect between us in how pricing affects our rankings. For me, I have to be desperate to get something to make it a priority. I truly, to pay pre-order price, I have to pretty much be desperate to do that. So that's one of the reasons you don't see a lot of priorities on here, because he will do it far more regularly than I will, and I will still consider some priority, but want to wait for the price to come down a little bit. I'll still call it a priority, but I'm waiting for that price to come down.
Yeah,
so there's a little
it goes
difference.
out of print in that time, so you're willing to give it a
which
chance of
will be
feeling
coming
it.
to one by the end of this list. Oh, I'm so ticked about that one.
Like I say, though, that's why I consider a priority where it is, because you're willing to let it go out of. You're willing to basically say, I am willing to take a chance of this going out of print to do it. And in this day, there's a lot more stuff going out of print than it should.
Yeah, that is true.
Now, for me, there's that line, but I could say, well, if it's something that I'm not going to get unless it's cheap, then we could just get rid of the meh and the curious and just combine them. But
no, I think there's a difference. There's a huge difference there, because again, for me, it's not about price. For me, it's about, am I actually curious about it, or do I not give a damn? That's more what it's about.
So it's really only 2 ratings.
Well, no, as far as those two are concerned, because I do see them as different. But anyway, let's go onward, I guess.
So, speaking of stuff that would be priority, Popeye, the Robin Williams Popeye. This one is a heavy nostalgia for me. Shelley Duvall, Robin Williams, and one of his big breakthrough roles. It's not a huge amount. And he did an amazing job with this film. His acting was very good. Olive Oil was a character that Shelley Duvall was born to play.
Pretty much.
This is probably the 3rd printing that I've seen of this movie, and first time I've seen it on Blu-ray. It is a very fun film, a entertaining musical, and if you like the original source material, you will really enjoy the portrayals that they have here. For me, it's a priority. If I did not have it, I would be like right there ordering it. It's cheap. It's like $8. I would be like, yes, I'm getting this as soon as possible. Only reason why I'm not is that it's really not got a ton of extra special features, and I've got it already. So, with some of those special features. So, what are your thoughts?
I believe you showed me Popeye, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
And it's a Robert Altman film, if I remember correctly.
Correct.
One of his stranger ones.
I was going to say, I know you were kind of surprised. We were like, what, really?
Altman went through an interesting phase in the 70s and 80s where he swung for the fences a few times. But I am a big Robert Altman fan. I am a big Robin Williams fan. Not a fan of Shelley Duvall, but you're right. She was born to play this role. I don't have this, and I need it for the collection. And I did enjoy it when I saw it. I wasn't blown away, but I enjoyed it.
Oh, yeah.
And I grew up on the Popeye cartoons, so I'll give that. Oh, that's not bad. I'll give it a yes, please, I think.
And there's one of the older editions. I got the edition right before that.
What is this new one? What does it have for bonus features? Anything?
It's not got much, but it's got a couple of things. You've got your Return to Sweet Haven, a look back with Robin and the Altmans, Popeye Company players, Popeye's premiere, and Sailor Man medley. So
that sounds good.
So what did you give it? Sorry.
I will give that a yes, please, I think.
All right, very much so. There we go. We got a lot of good, strong ones here, you know.
I know. I was going to say, this is a strong week overall so far.
Yeah, and don't be...
We're about to stick with that. What's that?
And don't let this one fool you. This might be the cream of the crop, but it's... I have it as like the top for a reason. This is like... These are like extremely solid, amazing... choices right here, things that we would consider like high thing. So moving on,
we have not that one, that one. There we go. There is the Fat Man. We have Fat Man coming out, which is a film starring Mel Gibson, Walton Goggins, and Marianne Jean-Baptiste, and it's a brand new release. I think it's just about to technically hit theaters and I guess home video simultaneously. This is the kind of thing going on this year. I actually am disappointed that they've changed the IMDb description since I looked it up. And I can't remember word for word what it originally was, but when I read that, I was like, the current description says, a rowdy, unorthodox Santa Claus is fighting to save his declining business. Meanwhile, Billy, a neglected and precocious 12-year-old, hires a hitman to kill Santa after receiving a lump of coal in his stocking. I love that description.
The description on the back of the disc is Santa's workshop is in financial peril, and to make matters worse, a disgruntled boy puts a sizable hit on the Fat Man, Mel Gibson's head, after receiving a lump of coal. So I like that description better. But
I love these descriptions. Based on the descriptions alone, and the idea of Mel Gibson as they say, disgruntled Santa. And Walton Goggins is pretty solid, too. I'm going to actually go yes, please, on this. I want to see this movie.
You know what? I just wish listed it, so yes. Yes, please, on that one, too. That just sounds like it's right down my alley. So, let's see. Back here again. The Rental. Again, another one I kind of added in for a little bit of fluff on my part.
Right.
I didn't really care for this. Kim liked it a lot. Essentially, it's a bunch...
You guys saw it?
Yeah, we saw it. We paid money to see it, like release money, theatrical release money.
Oh, really?
And this is a group of people. They rent a house... And they see weird things like people spying on them, different things out of place. But it's kind of a relationship drama mixed with a serial killer. And
those two don't usually mix.
So, I mean, it was all right. I wasn't too impressed by it. I probably won't watch it again. So I probably won't get this. So... I guess that's
was it?
I guess that's the definition of a meh, isn't it?
Right. I'm going to... We'll probably end up with a meh because we round down, but I was actually somewhat curious about this, and I left it off my list because my list was so long. but it's the directorial debut of Dave Franco, James Franco's younger brother.
Yep.
And it does feature Dan Stevens and Alison Brie, so I do have a curiosity, but I had read basically what you said, that a lot of people were unimpressed by it. So
some of the kills are slightly brutal, but it's,
I will probably go low curious on that one.
All right. So, boom. All right, we got our first meh.
All right, now one thing that I'm highly curious about of the next one, Ground Control to Psycho Electric Girl, great title, good show. Is this actually a new release or even a reissue? I don't know. NIS has been absurdly and frustratingly silent for a long time. But recently, several of their titles have shown up as, quote, new releases on Right Stuff.
Looks like new packaging.
And it might be the original package is a thick pack.
Yeah.
It looks the same, but the original package is like a double thickness. So this may be a regular size case. I don't know.
Take a look at mine to see what the discs look like.
Okay, I don't recall that the discs look different, but I could be wrong. But while he is doing that, Ground Control to Psycho Electric Girl is essentially about a girl who believes she is an alien. And the guy who comes to live with her and her strange, horny aunt, his aunt, sorry, who is...
okay. Sorry about that.
What's that?
Sorry about that.
Okay.
It doesn't show.
So, yeah, it's an interesting series. It's a lot of fun. The opening sequence, there's a season 11, is it? With Big Bang Theory, where the cover reminds me of the opening sequence to this one. What's that?
So, yeah, I think that this is just the Blu-ray only release, but they definitely use the same packaging as far as like the same cover art. And
all right. We had a Blu-ray DVD combo, didn't we? Oh, okay. So it's a standard Blu-ray only, which is going to be a little bit of a space saver if you don't have it and don't need the DVD. Honestly, I probably would have preferred this edition. It is a show worth picking up. I highly recommend any NIS that you can get your hands on. I would give this... I did not pre-order it, so I don't know that I can rightly give it a priority, but I would surely give it a yes, please.
Yeah, I would have. If I didn't have it, I'd be hunting for it.
Right.
But I have proven I'm not going to try and go for it at any price because I've seen prices of things, not this one, but others, that I've been like, no. But this one's not out of print yet, which is good. I mean, Premium's been long out of print, but
Oh, yeah.
And if I had the Premium, I'd be definitely being like, yep, I'm glad for that. I'm changing that for everything.
Oh, yeah, no. I don't have that. That one went out of print early, the Premium one.
So, we going back to our PS5 releases again.
Ooh, yeah.
With Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, and you'd expect the Spider-Man ones because it's Sony's big Marvel's one.
Yep.
But, I mean, if you go just below it, you can get, like, there's, like, a multi-pack here. And there are multi-packs with all the Spider-Men in 4K, so...
Actually, isn't that Steelbook 4K that had the triple pack? Isn't it the same 3 titles that are coming out this week?
I do not know.
I think so. I thought about getting that because I still don't have Venom, but whatever.
Yeah, there is one that has those 3 in it, so yeah, I don't know. So yeah, I like it. It's a great movie. Anybody who doesn't have it should have this in their collection. To me, the movie itself is a priority film. And if you don't have it on 4K and you gotta get the film, then this is not a bad way to do it. I mean, 4K ain't bad.
Right.
So I would put it as a priority.
It was down there. And
No,
then
I'm
of
waiting
course,
on you.
oh no, I already said it's a priority.
Okay, good.
Yeah, it's a phenomenal film.
Right.
And check out the Inside Movies Galore discussion that we did a few months back. Okay, so the next one up, is it this one? Okay, it is. Speaking of triple packs, we have a Jumanji triple pack with the original Robin Williams Jumanji and the remake, well, the first part of the reboot, I guess you could say, Welcome to the Jungle, and then the sequel, The Next Level. It's been a hot minute since I've seen the Robin Williams one, and I still have not seen The Next Level, but I saw Welcome to the Jungle recently, and it's a fun movie. It really is, and overall, this is a good way to get this. You got them all tight in one little package that's not going to be taking up a lot of space. It's 4K, so that may not matter for the Robin Williams one, but it will definitely matter for the new ones, because you got to get your high-def Jack Black. I know that's where you would want it.
I'm going to say that it is most assuredly a hard one to find elsewhere. I could only find it on Walmart's site.
The Jumanji? I've got it here on Amazon.
So, mine...
It's on... Now, Amazon has a list price of $76 with a sale price of $57.
Let me see if I can find it on here
what
again.
was the pricing on Walmart?
Because it was like 40.
40?
Oh,
That's
yeah.
a lot less
Let
than
me
Amazon.
see. Double check real quick. Maybe not like 40. March 30th is the price. So no, 56, but still a lot cheaper than the other one.
Well, it's the same price as the sale price, yeah. But that's still a heck of a lot for those movies. I would wait for the price to come down.
Oh yeah, there it goes.
Yeah,
So, I mean, it says Amazon has it for it's 56, not 70.
Yeah. Well, the list price was the first one I read off. Again, I would give this set a yes, please ranking. I do want this set. It's probably the way I would try. Oh, I might settle for Blu-ray because I, again, don't have a 4K player. But a triple set is a good way to do it. But it's got to be cheaper than that.
To me, it's not a yes, please. I don't have any nostalgia for Jumanji, so... And I have no interest. Like, if it was the other two movies on their own, it would be a little curious to a meh. So I would say this would be... Huh?
You haven't seen them yet, have you?
Nope.
The first one's fun. It's a fun movie.
But
anyway.
it's on the low curious.
Yeah.
And the original brings it up to a middle curious for me.
Okay. That makes all the difference.
So, we'll get to Tex Avery in a minute.
Okay.
Spider-Man Far From Home is also getting a 4K release. It was a good film. I was glad I finally got to see it on my... I think I got it on Blu-ray cheap, so I'm not really in the mood to upgrade, but for those of you who don't have it, it's an excellent film. Tom Holland plays a good Spider-Man. And I like Mysterio. He's one of my favorite Marvel villains, so I was kind of glad they finally gave him the spotlight. That was pretty cool. That one and the Vulture from the first film, those were unexpected, so I'm kind of glad to see Disney and Sony working together went there.
Yeah. So far with the Spider-Man movies, they have a pretty decent track record of taking villains that I always thought were kind of dull and making them interesting. But anyway, Mysterio, not so much that I thought he was dull, but you know what I mean. Like, this is a very... well, this is very much a... Well, yeah, I'll say... I didn't snap it up the first moment I could, but so I don't know if I could call it a priority, but it's surely a yes, please.
Yeah, I mean, I look at it as a part of the must to get. Technically, it's the first one in the. No, it's the last movie in that phase from Marvel.
Yeah.
And actually, they haven't released any movies in that phase. Black Widow is going to be the first in the new one, I believe.
Got pushed back significantly because of all the COVID stuff.
So it's kind of cool that that also rounds it out. So I do feel like it's a must, but it's worth waiting for a price drop. Plus, I don't think it's going to go out of print anytime soon.
Probably not. And again, I have it on Blu-ray. If I ever get a 4K player, I will upgrade, but that's an if. Okay, so a film that will be nostalgic for a lot of people is a Luc Besson actioner from the early 90s called Leon, the Professional, which stars Jean Reno, Gary Oldman, and a very young Natalie Portman. This was kind of the film that put her on the map. And Oldman does a great job as the villain in the film, and Reno basically plays an assassin who finds himself having to protect a young girl from, some nasty folks. It's a good movie. I enjoy it. I don't have the nostalgia for it. A lot of people do because I've only seen it maybe twice, and it's been a while. But it's a good, solid film. I like the look of this steelbook. I think I have it on DVD, so if I got a great deal on this steelbook, I would jump on it, but I would need a really good deal to do the upgrade. But I would definitely rank it as a yes, please. I think it should be in the collection.
I mean, I need more. I need to see it. I've never seen it, so I am in a curious for that one.
Okay. Okay.
Looks like those Joe Biden memes that they have with him.
Well, actually, some of the memes they've been doing and the way that Jim Carrey plays him on SNL, I could almost see that.
All right. There's only two more on my end.
Okay.
So let's see. Yeah, all the rest of this list is yours.
All right.
So Tex Avery Collection 2. Again, I wasn't huge into this, but they are classics. Classics like the Bugs Bunny films.
Right.
So they're worth having. Many of our childhoods were spent with this. I know that you've seen some Tex Avery stuff growing up. So,
and I believe we did cover the part one.
Yeah,
of
we
this
did. Car of Tomorrow, House of Tomorrow, Ventriloquist Cat, Counterfeit Cat, Dixieland Droopy, some Droopy stuff. So some fun stuff out there.
I'm sure I probably saw some of those cartoons. I
There's
thought
the
about
original one.
Right. I thought about putting this on my list, but I had such a long list already, and honestly, that cover does nothing for me. But
yeah.
But yeah, I think we said with part one, these are history. These are something worth having. I would definitely give that a high curious.
Yeah, high curious on my end.
Okay.
All right.
So next up, something I had forgotten was coming out, and I am intrigued. And that is, there is a TV series coming out called Perry Mason. And no, it's not the old one. It's not the Raymond Burr version. This one stars Matthew Rhys, who was the star of A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood. And he did a phenomenal job in that film. So that right there has my interest peaked. But the cast also, he co-stars with Juliet Rowlands and Chris Chalk. And you've got Shea Wiggum, Tatiana Maslany, John Lithgow, Lily Taylor, Stephen Root, Nate Cordry, Gretchen Mol has a couple of appearances, etc., etc. That right there has me intrigued. But then you also have that it's an HBO production, and the last HBO production I saw that starred Shea Wiggum, Stephen Root, and Gretchen Mol was Boardwalk Empire, and that show kicked ass. So that gives me a very high feeling of this is going to be worth watching. The original Perry Mason was a part of TV history that I will eventually snag for the collection. I I do want to see this, and I'm very, very, very curious. I don't know if I can quite go to yes, please, without more information than that, but it is a very high curious.
I'm on the low end of curious, so we'll meet in the middle.
All right. You seen the original? I know you watched a lot of those old shows growing up, but
I did not. So I kind of like have zero interest in it, but I'm vaguely curious, so you know.
I don't think I ever saw it growing up either. Matlock was usually the courtroom drama I used.
So if you really want on your PS5 to do some like, action horror-ish stuff, you could get Underworld, which was a good film. I really enjoyed it about sort of like a civil war between vampires and werewolves.
Right.
And it's an interesting film series. I've got the whole thing on Blu-ray, so I really don't see the need to buy them separate. My Blu-ray set is about the same size as this one. But it is a good one. It's a fairly decent film. It's one I think that most people should have a copy of if they don't, because it is, to me, it's an essential of horror action. So I would put that as a yes please for me if I did not have it and was looking to get them all on 4K.
See, that one has a slightly lower price than some of the other
20.
ones. Yeah.
That's an old one.
So, well, I don't think I have that movie in my collection, and I do need it. I have seen it, and I enjoyed it. Again, I have zero interest in this edition, and honestly, I probably would be more interested in a multi-pack that has all of them.
Oh, yeah.
But if I was rating it just on the movie itself, I would say high curious, bordering on yes please, but looking at this package, this release, it's more of a curious. Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
It's all you from here on out.
Monkey's out of the bottle, man. Pandora don't go back in the box. It only comes out. I do love Pineapple Express. That's another one that's getting the PS5 release. But that had the elder Franco, James, with his brother from another mother, Seth Rogen. And you've also got, oh man, I'm drawing a blank and I feel so, how am I drawing a blank on that dude? Danny McBride, jeez. Okay, and Gary Cole as well. So basically, this movie is about a ne'er-do-well teacher who hangs out and gets stoned with his dealer, who's played by Franco, and they find themselves involved in a criminal conspiracy involving their other business acquaintance, played by McBride, and the guy who wants to wipe them out, Gary Cole, and a corrupt cop played by Rosie Perez. It's a fun movie. It actually snagged Franco a Golden Globe nod for that performance, and there was talk of an Oscar nod. It's a fun movie. Again, this whole repackaging thing is kind of BS, but I think I might already have this on Blu-ray. I can't remember if I have it on DVD or Blu-ray, so I don't know my personal priority level. I don't know that it needs a 4K, but it is a priority. It is a yes, please. It is a film to have in the collection.
Yeah, I consider it an essential comedy. I don't know if 4K is needed.
Right.
So, yeah, I would put it in the yes, please territory. I have it on DVD, and I really, unless they have like a crap ton of extras, I don't really see any reason to upgrade.
I'll upgrade to Blu-ray when they do the Criterion edition. Or actually, what seems much more likely is a shout release. What's up?
So there you go. They've got like a little...
Yeah, there you go. Oh, is that on the back of the... Oh, I don't know. Anyway, so next up we have... Because it is just me now, right?
Yep.
So next up, we have a Chinese film called Still Life by Jia Zhangke, and it's a few years old. It's actually not a brand new release. I don't remember exactly what I read about it. It didn't look like anything that was going to jump off the page at me, but it's supposedly a very low-key, almost documentary-style look at everyday life in China. It could be very interesting. I love looking at stuff from around the world that I feel like can help give me a window into places around the world, and that's the main reason this is on my list. The price point's too high. I would wait and hope for a much better price, but I could be picking this up for 15 or so. It's definitely curious.
Yeah, I'm curious. These type of films can be kind of fun and whimsical.
Well, I don't know about whimsical, but yeah. Speaking of fun and whimsical, probably not. Another PS5 4K movie is the third of that Sony Spider-Man triptych, although this one very pointedly does not have any relationship to the MCU or the other Spider-Man movies. Technically, neither did Into the Spider-Verse. But anyway, this is Venom, which features Tom Hardy in the lead role, Eddie Brock / Venom. It's a good movie. It's not an extraordinary movie. I never got on the Venom bandwagon. I always thought he was kind of a cool character, but I never loved him the way a lot of people did. I do think Tom Hardy's a heck of an actor. Overall, it's a worthwhile film. I haven't gotten around to picking it up, but I would like to. I wouldn't mind having it in high def. I will not be buying this edition, but I would consider it. It's hard to say if I would go yes, please on this. It's almost an essential for the collection. But for my collection, it's going to be in my collection. So I guess yes, please.
I have it in the collection, and it's kind of on the line, but I'd probably put it as a high curious. I still haven't watched it yet.
Okay. Well, I mean, isn't it for you like an essential to have all the comic book movies?
It used to be, but then they decided... it used to be I wanted to get all the comic book media, but then things happened, and it was like, okay, well, I don't have enough money to get all the comic book media now. I don't even have enough money to collect all the Arrowverse. There's too many series.
Speaking of, and then things happened. So, Funimation, strangely enough, I thought this was a Sentai title, and I don't know why I made that assumption. Maybe because it's a KyoAni title. There is an extraordinarily well-regarded series from Kyoto Animation called Violet Evergarden, and for some reason the movie's coming out a week before the series, and this is the "and things happen" thing. There was a limited edition set that looked gorgeous, and Funimation has already sold out.
Yeah.
And Right Stuff has already sold out.
And Amazon has already sold out.
Scalpers you were talking about, those jerks. But anyway, so Violet Evergarden was, I think this movie, which is called Eternity in the Auto Memory Doll, I believe this is the production they were actively working on when that asshole burned down their studio. And they managed to come around and put it out. But, yeah, that was, that I still can't think of that without thinking that guy. But good on them for being able to pull through and still get stuff done. And I really want the show. I really want the movie. I am not pre-ordering them. Again, this is where we differ. I refuse to pre-order from Funimation if I can help it. So, no offense to Funimation, but no, I'm not paying those prices out of the gate.
26 ain't bad for a movie.
For a movie,
For an anime movie.
It's going to be available for $20 by the end of the next year. Probably less. But again, this is a good illustration. I may have missed out on that limited set because of that. So
yeah,
I don't know.
I mean, I got a pre-order in with Amazon, but
we'll see what happens with that.
I saw it happen with that camera set, so I don't know.
So with this one, I would say, by my definition, it's a priority. But by the rules we're using here, I can only go yes, please. But it's a solid yes, please.
Hey, you said you could wait as much as a year for it. That's a long time to wait for a priority.
Well, that's the way I do it. That's like I said, that's a little different.
So let's see here. For me, since I guess I did pre-order it, and it is one I feel like is high ranking, it would be a priority. So it would go down to yes, please. But it is on there because I do feel like it's a must to go in there, and I want to show my support for the studio. So that's there. I am really hoping that I can get a hold of that limited edition. But if not, I'll just get the regular release. They actually have the full series release, so it's not like they're splitting it.
That comes out next week, which again, I don't know why the movie's first. But anyway, next up, I had to hunt for this. I could not find it on Amazon, but I found it on Best Buy.
Yeah, I know.
But we have, is this a Best Buy exclusive release?
I don't know. I mean, it's kind of weird. Best Buy seems to have a lot of these HBO shows.
But this is one of the best known. This is like one of the HBO shows, supposedly. It's a show called The Wire. Mm-hmm. I have heard phenomenal things about this. I have not seen a single episode, but I have heard phenomenal things about it. It's a show that started in 2002, ran for 60 episodes. The IMDb description is the Baltimore drug scene as seen through the eyes of drug dealers and law enforcement. Is that? I guess that's
that's good enough.
Yeah, I'm guessing that's it. So you've got Dominic West in there, Wendell Pierce, Michael Kenneth Williams. Okay, there's another Boardwalk Empire alum. That's pretty cool. And Idris Elba's in there. That's pretty cool. You got a lot of good folks in that cast. I need to see this show. I don't know when I will get to it. Time. But I need to see this. It is probably one I will need to have eventually. Based on its reputation alone, I would almost call it a yes, please. But I can't call it a priority because I'm not buying something blind for $110.
Yeah, I don't know. This one's a curious for me because it's got such a high rep. But I'm always leery when it comes to a series and something that's gonna run me $100. So I'm more on the curious end.
My feeling is if I see this set for 40 or 50, I'll probably get it.
And you see, and for me, I would still be going, that's how I am with Breaking Bad, even. I'm just like, 40.
That one I think is available for 40 or 50.
Which is why I'm like, still. If I ever see the series for 20, I'll go for it.
Well, the thing is, those HBO series are always pricey.
Oh, they are.
I mean, I think I got The Sopranos for just under 50, and I thought it was a steal. It's kind of the, although now it seems to be kind of regularly in the 60, 70 range. But anyway, last couple, the last one of those 4K movie essentials ones, PS5, is one that I really want to see. But again, like Bloodshot, I think I got it from the library and turned it back in because I didn't have time for it at the time. And because I knew I would be getting it one of these days, I thought it would be sooner than later. And that is the Zombieland Double Tap, the sequel to Zombieland. which I loved Zombieland. I'm not usually a zombie fan, but I loved that movie. That was such a good movie. And this brings back the original cast 10 years later? Several years later. It's kind of one of those down-the-road sequels that have become more common nowadays. Brings in some fresh blood. Rosario Dawson's in there and some other good folks. And if I remember correctly, I think Bill Murray's supposed to reprise his role, obviously zombified this time around. I will get this, but again, I can't get excited about this particular edition. I will. It's tempting. It's hard to say. I will get it. So it'll probably have to rank as a yes, please.
Well, think of it as a regular 4K and just
the regular 4K, it's a yes, please.
Yeah. Because really and truly, it's no different. It's just adding PS5 on the corner.
Right.
So,
and it is currently available from Best Buy for a lot less than that price.
Oh yeah, I got my copy on Blu-ray for like $7 on the sale earlier. It's probably less than that now.
No, the current Best Buy price I think is $12, which is why I didn't get it. But if I find it for $7, oh yeah.
Because Best Buy did like a flash. They did a couple flash sales this summer, which were pretty cool, and that was one of them. I remember that. It's like, oh well, I will get that, and I grabbed it.
I wish I had. But anyway, last one. We've got one last one. This week's edition from Criterion, and this is a film called Crash. And no, it's not that Crash. This is one from 1996. It's directed by David Cronenberg. So you know it's probably going to be messed up. So this is Criterion's description for this icily erotic fusion of flesh and machine. How's that for an opening sentence? David Cronenberg, opening statement. David Cronenberg adapted J.G. Ballard's future shock novel, the 1970s, into one of the most singular and provocative films of the 90s. Traffic collision involving a disaffected commercial producer, James, who's played by James Spader, and an enigmatic doctor, Helen, who's played by Holly Hunter, brings them, along with James' wife, Catherine, Deborah Kerr Unger, together in a crucible of blood and broken glass, etc., etc. The way I'm reading this description does not excite me about this movie. There's not a huge number of special features. Overall, this is on the low end of Criterion for me. But I do rate most Criterion films as a yes, please, and I love the cast. And Cronenberg intrigues me. So it's right on the edge between yes, please, and curious.
Well, you know, I'll drag it back down to curious.
So I'll say yes, please, because why not?
Yeah, for you, you kind of got a thing to where you want to kind of collect all of the Criterion. So
to the degree I can, I know I'll never get them all.
So, well, you know, it's that whole thing. Like, I want to get all the Oscar winners. I know that ain't
gonna well, yeah,
it's gonna be. So, like, any Oscar winner is going to automatically be a yes, please for me.
Right.
Just like any Criterion would be an automatic for you. So, but for me, I've long come to peace with I'm never gonna get all of them, and I don't even want some of them. So you know that's.
Well, the other Crash.
Yeah, if the other Crash is sitting on Criterion, I wouldn't be buying it. That DVD version is just enough to hold in my collection, and yet it would still rank a yes, please on there. So
right,
you know, so we have a couple that of course we haven't covered.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to show these as these are the ones that we didn't really have any like strong opinion of one way or the other, and
I think some of these would rate curious, a few would rate meh. We should mention, you said Doing My Drugs has been pushed back.
Yeah, it's been pushed back But next week is the digital release. So if you really want to see it, you can pay that money. You can pay, I think it's like $20 or something. You can pay and see it digitally.
It'll be worthwhile checking out. Yeah.
I will wait. I'm sure it'll eventually either go on the streaming services or it will have a physical,
Right.
which was intended.
Yes.
So, but otherwise, yeah, nothing that I'm like throwing big.
So you can choose where you will.
Yep.
But between us, we still managed to pull one meh. And what was it, one priority or
Two.
two priorities? Okay.
And they
we
are.
We had a lot of yes pleases this week.
Yeah, so it was a very high priority week for us.
Good deal.
So, in any case, I hope you all have enjoyed this. Hit that like button. Of course, if you like our channel, you should subscribe. And hey,
Well, let us know if you like this particular way of doing it. Yeah, we're playing around. We're trying to figure out ways.
Yeah, just to try and shorten it a little bit, because it's going on usually an hour or more each time, and we just gotta figure it out. Because those of you who have been braving it to the end. All right. Well, with that, you all take care, and I will see you on the next one. Goodbye.